My name is Tessa Monroe, and I have spent my entire life living in my sister's shadow. Cassandra was born first, 18 months before me. 18 months of our parents learning how to worship a child before I arrived and learned my place. Second. Second in line. Second in love. Second in everything that mattered. Cassie was the golden girl. The valedictorian. The homecoming queen. The one who married the wealthy dermatologist with the lake house and the vacation home in Aspen. I was the quiet one. The bookish one. The one who started a small graphic design business from my studio apartment and actually managed to make it successful, not that anyone noticed. Our mother certainly never noticed. To her, Cassie walked on water, and I was just there. The backup daughter. The one who showed up to family events and smiled while Cassie held court, while Cassie showed off her latest designer handbag, while Cassie announced another pregnancy, like she was single-handedly continuing the family legacy. This was her third. Baby number 3. Another reason for our mother to faint with joy, another reason for Cassie to demand a celebration, another reason for me to dig into my savings and buy a gift that would never be good enough. The baby shower was at the Ivy Room, an exclusive event space in the suburbs that Cassie had booked 6 months in advance. Everything had to be perfect. The floral arrangements alone cost more than my first car. The catered lunch was from a Michelin-starred chef. The guests were Cassie's inner circle, women with designer strollers and nannies on speed dial, women who looked at me like I was a charity case they had to tolerate. I arrived early, carrying my gift in a simple white box tied with a cream ribbon. I had spent weeks on this gift. Not bought, created. I had designed and hand-painted a custom nursery mural on a massive canvas, something that could be hung on the wall and cherished forever. It depicted a whimsical forest with animals peeking through the trees, each one painted with painstaking detail. The frame alone cost me $800. The materials, the time, the love I poured into it, priceless. Or so I thought. Tessa, there you are. Cassie air-kissed both my cheeks, her baby bump leading the way like a figurehead on a ship. She was radiant, glowing, dressed in a flowing maternity gown that probably cost more than my rent. What did you bring? Let me see. I hesitated. It's for the nursery. I thought maybe you could open it later, in private. Nonsense, she trilled, her voice carrying across the room. Everyone, Tessa brought a gift. Come watch her open it. Women gathered, their champagne glasses glinting, their smiles sharp and curious. I felt my face heat as I handed over the box. Cassie tore into it with the enthusiasm of someone who had never been disappointed in her life. She pulled out the canvas. For a moment, there was silence. Then she laughed. Oh, Tessa, she said, holding it up for everyone to see. You painted this? How adorable. Very arts and crafts. The kids will love it in the playroom. You know, the one we use for storage. The women laughed. Not with me at me. I heard whispers, homemade. So sweet of her to try. Cassie is so gracious. My hands curled into fists at my sides. I wanted to snatch the canvas back, to explain the hours of work, the love, the meaning. But I said nothing. I never said anything. Wait, Cassie said, peering into the box. There's something else. What's this? She pulled out an envelope. A plain white envelope with her name written in my handwriting. She opened it, pulled out the card inside, and read it silently. Her face changed. The smile faltered. The color drained. Her eyes went wide, then narrow, then wide again. What? Our mother asked, leaning in. What does it say? Cassie's hand trembled. She looked up at me, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in her eyes. It says, Cassie whispered, her voice cracking, that our father had another family. The room erupted. Gasps. Shrieks. Hands flying to mouths. Our mother grabbed the card from Cassie's limp fingers and read it herself, her face cycling through confusion, disbelief, and then something I had never seen before, devastation. What is this? Our mother demanded, turning on me. What kind of sick joke? It's not a joke, I said quietly. It's the truth. I hired a private investigator 6 months ago. I wanted to know why Dad was always so distant with me. Why he favored Cassie so obviously. Why he left me nothing in his will except a small savings bond while Cassie got the house, the investments, everything. Our father had died 2 years ago. Cancer. Quick and brutal. In his final months, he had barely looked at me. He had held Cassie's hand, called her his princess, whispered secrets I would never know. I sat in the corner of his hospital room, invisible even as he slipped away. I found out why, I continued, my voice steady despite the pounding of my heart. Dad had a mistress. For 25 years. Her name was Elena. She lived in a town 3 hours away. And they had a daughter together. A daughter named Mira. She's 19 years old. She's my half-sister. Our half-sister. Mother swayed on her feet. Someone grabbed her arm, guided her to a chair. Cassie stood frozen, the canvas still clutched in her hands, the whimsical forest animals staring out at the chaos. That's not true, Cassie hissed. You're lying. You've always been jealous. You made this up to ruin my baby shower, to ruin my life. I have proof, I said. Photos. Bank statements showing the money he sent them every month. A letter he wrote to Elena, promising to leave us for her, though he never had the courage. I have a DNA test confirming Mira is his daughter. And I have her phone number. I pulled out my phone and held it up. On the screen was a photo of a young woman with our father's eyes, our father's smile. A young woman who looked more like him than Cassie or I ever did. She wants to meet you, I said. All of you. She wants to know the family she was never allowed to know. I thought this would be the perfect moment to share the news. A celebration of family, right? Cassie screamed. Not a shout, not a yell, a primal, guttural scream that silenced every whisper in the room. She threw the canvas onto the floor, the frame cracking on impact. She lunged at me, but 2 of her friends caught her, held her back. You bitch, she shrieked. You evil, jealous bitch. You did this on purpose. You waited until now, until everyone was here, until you opened my gift in front of everyone, I agreed calmly. Just like you always do. Just like you've done my entire life. You wanted a show, Cassie. So I gave you one. I looked at our mother, slumped in her chair, tears streaming down her face. I felt a pang of guilt, but I pushed it down. She had made her choices. She had chosen Cassie over and over for 30 years. Now she could live with the truth. Elena and Mira are waiting at a coffee shop down the street, I said. I told them I would bring the family to meet them after the shower. I didn't specify which family members would come. That's up to you. I turned and walked toward the door. Behind me, the chaos continued. Cassie sobbing, mother wailing, guests murmuring in shocked clusters. I didn't look back. I walked down the hallway, pressed the elevator button, and waited. When the doors opened, I stepped inside and finally let myself breathe. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Is it done? Are they coming? Mira. My newly discovered half-sister. The sister I had found, the sister I had connected with, the sister who had become my friend over the past 6 months of investigation. We had met in person 3 times. She was kind, gentle, desperate for family. She had no idea what she was walking into. Not yet, I texted back. But the bomb has been dropped. Give them an hour. Then call me. I stepped out of the building and into the cool afternoon air. The sky was overcast, threatening rain. It matched my mood perfectly. I found a bench across the street and sat down to wait. To watch. To see which version of my family would emerge from that building. The one that clung to lies, or the one brave enough to face the truth. An hour passed. Then another. I watched the doors of the Ivy Room, counting the guests as they trickled out, their faces a mix of shock and barely concealed glee. This was gossip gold, and they knew it. Cassie's perfect life had a crack in it now, and they would spend weeks picking at it. At the tower mark, my mother emerged. She walked slowly, leaning on the arm of my Aunt Patricia. Her eyes were red, her makeup ruined. She looked old. Older than I had ever seen her. She stopped at the bottom of the steps and looked around, scanning the street. When her eyes found me on the bench, she froze. For a long moment, we just looked at each other. Then she said something to my aunt, who nodded and walked away. Mother crossed the street, moving like a woman in a dream, and sat down beside me on the bench. "Tessa," she said. Her voice was hoarse. "I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything," I replied. "Just listen." She nodded, her hands clasped in her lap. "I didn't do this to hurt you," I said quietly. "I did it because I was tired of being invisible. Tired of being second. Tired of watching Cassie get everything while I got nothing, not even the truth about my own father. He loved you," Mother whispered. "In his own way." "Don't," I cut her off. "Don't make excuses for him. Not now. Not after I've seen the evidence. He had another family. Another daughter. He sent them money every month, money that should have been ours. He visited them on holidays while we sat around the table pretending we were enough." Mother was crying again, silent tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm not telling you this to make you cry," I continued. "I'm telling you because I want you to understand. I have a sister. A real sister. Her name is Mira, and she's been waiting her whole life to meet you. She's been waiting to have a family. And I promised her I would bring that family to her." I pulled out my phone and showed her the photo again. Myra's face, so like our father's, so full of hope. "She's at a coffee shop 3 blocks from here," I said. "She's scared. She's excited. She's been watching the door for 2 hours, waiting to see if anyone will come. I can go alone. Or you can come with me. The choice is yours." Mother stared at the photo for a long time. Then she did something I never expected. She reached out and took my hand. "I failed you," she whispered. "I failed both of you. I was so busy worshiping Cassie that I forgot I had another daughter. A daughter who needed me. A daughter who deserved better." I squeezed her hand, not trusting myself to speak. "Take me to her," Mother said. "Take me to Mira." We walked together, mother and daughter, through streets that had never looked so unfamiliar. At the coffee shop, I spotted Mira immediately. She was sitting in the corner, nursing a cold latte, her eyes fixed on the door. When she saw us, she stood up so fast she nearly knocked over her chair. Mother stopped in the doorway. Mira stood frozen by the table. They looked at each other across the crowded cafe, and I saw it happen. Recognition. Not of faces, but of something deeper. A connection. A thread of blood and history and longing. I stepped forward. "Mira, this is our mother." "Mom, this is Mira." Mother crossed the distance in 3 steps and pulled Mira into her arms. They held each other, crying, shaking, holding on like they might never let go. I stood back and watched, tears streaming down my own face. The door chimed behind me. I turned to see Cassie standing there, her face pale, her eyes swollen. She was alone. No friends. No husband. Just her. She looked at the scene before her, our mother embracing a stranger, me standing to the side, crying. She looked lost, confused, like a child who had wandered into the wrong house. "Tessa," she said. Her voice was small. Humble. "I don't understand." I walked over to her, took her arm, and guided her to a nearby table. We sat down across from each other, while Mother and Mira continued their embrace in the corner. "The truth is simple, Cassie," I said. "Dad had another daughter. Her name is Mira. She's 19. She's innocent in all of this. She didn't ask to be born into secrecy. She didn't ask to be hidden. She just wants a family. The same family we had, the same family we took for granted." Cassie stared at me, her eyes welling with tears. "Why didn't you tell me? Why did you have to do it like that? In front of everyone?" I leaned forward, my voice dropping to a whisper. "Because you needed to feel it. Just once. You needed to know what it feels like to have your world crumble in public, to have everyone staring, to have your perfect image shattered. That's how I've felt my entire life, Cassie. Every time you opened my gift in front of everyone. Every time you showed off while I faded into the background. Every time Mom chose you. Every time Dad ignored me. I wanted you to feel it. Just once." She was crying now, really crying, her carefully constructed facade crumbling like sand. "I'm sorry," she choked out. "I'm so sorry, Tessa. I didn't know. I never realized." "I know," I said softly. "That's the problem. You never realized. None of you did. But now you have a chance to make it right. Not with me. With Mira. She's the innocent one in all of this. She deserves a family. The question is, are you brave enough to be part of it? Cassie looked across the room at Mira, still wrapped in our mother's arms. She looked young and scared and hopeful all at once. I don't know, Cassie admitted. I don't know if I can. But I want to try. I nodded. That's all any of us can do. Try. I stood up and offered her my hand. She took it, and I pulled her to her feet. Together, we walked toward the corner, toward our mother and our new sister, toward a future none of us could have imagined. The coffee shop hummed around us, ordinary life continuing while our extraordinary family began to heal. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy. But it was real. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible anymore. I was seen.